All right, y'all, it's Andreas Hale with ESPN, and I'm here with Curtis Blaydes, who challenges Tom Aspinall for the interim heavyweight title at UFC 304. Curtis, I want to go all the way back because I've seen you talk about the time, about this fight, and about the money. This opportunity gets presented for you to challenge for the interim title. And is it more about the championship because it's an interim title, or was it really the bottom line being the financial aspect of it for you when you took this fight?
No, it was the belt. The belt was uh, a bigger factor in it because, like, I'm not going to turn down an opportunity for the interim title shot. Money, I have turned down fights where I've been offered a decent amount. So, yeah, I can confidently say it was the belt that got me.
Is it weird that this is the way that you finally got to a title fight? Because I don't know if people have paid as much of attention. Like, you've won against some of the biggest names in the heavyweight division, and this is your first crack at an interim title fight. Are you surprised that it took this long?
No, I knew it would. Like, if I had a bigger mouth on me, or if I talked more smack, if I did more antics, I probably would have got one. Probably after Alistair, because after when I beat Alistair, EC fought Derek Lewis for interim, and Derek Lewis had just had that horrible fight with Ngannou. So I think honestly I was a little more deserving based on our most recent performances of getting that interim. But Derek Lewis is Derek Lewis. He talks smack. He says weird shit. He gets a lot of people interested. I get it. I get the business aspect. He's easier to promote. He does the promotion for himself. With me, I know the UFC has to work because I don't really. There's not a lot of sound bites. I don't really have a whole lot of witty things or outrageous things for me to say. I'm a just a normal, respectable athlete, and I like to win. I like to work hard, and I don't I don't do all the extra stuff. And I get that it hurts me in the long run with like things like this, like marketing and opportunities. But that's just who I am. That's how I've always been. And it worked out eventually. So, you stick to your guns, eventually things will work out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, man, because it doesn't seem like that's something that you'd ever change. Like, you're not gonna talk smack just to try to get an opportunity because you might, you got to look at
I'm not
yourself in the mirror every day, right? Like, that's not who you are.
I'm I'm not very skilled at that. I have a speech impediment. So growing up in school, when everybody else was talking smack like, ooh, yo mama jokes and all that stuff, I never really got involved. Like I was around, I heard it, but I never really got involved because I know I got a speech impediment. That's just low hanging fruit. You're walking into a bad situation if you want to talk smack about each other. Well, I never got into that. And then I wrestled. You don't talk smack in that sport. Everyone, you walk out there, shake hands before, shake hands after, win, lose, or draw. And I just never really had it in me to do all that.
Um, is it interesting that as this fight is approaching, a lot of the conversation also goes around what John Jones is going to do and him fighting Stipe Miocic. And I know you said there's like these real weird, wonky matchups that are happening in the heavyweight division. Do you think the John Jones fight with Stipe actually happens? Stipe hasn't won a fight in
I,
4 years. It feels like I don't know if this fight's going to happen.
I mean, I hope it happens. Like I've been, and I hope just for Stipe. Like I think he deserves to get the bag. I think he deserves because it's probably gonna be the last one, more than likely. I think he deserves to walk out with a big fight like that. So I hope it happens, but who can say? Like, especially I just heard about John's legal issues. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if that's gonna have an impact on him getting an MMA license. 'Cause I know different different states have different rules and all that stuff. But they always ask you when you're filling out your paperwork about arrest and things like that. I never really paid attention because I've never been arrested, but I don't know if that's going to be a factor. So who knows? Your guess is as good as mine when it comes to Jones versus Stipe.
So let's go to get to brass tacks. This fight happens at 4 in the morning in London. Are Are you changing sleeping habits? Are you doing anything different? Like, when do you plan on getting to Manchester for this fight?
We'll get there, I think, early Monday morning over there, and we're gonna sleep during the day, be awake during the night, sleep during the day. We're gonna be vampires the week of. That's the best we can do. It is weird. It is like I never thought my first title shot would be at 4 in the morning anywhere in the world. But hey, you beggars cannot be choosers. So I'm just happy to get the uh title shot.
Well, man, Curtis, you haven't begged, man. I think you've earned this opportunity. And, obviously you don't get to choose. So you got to fight Tom Aspinall in his backyard. But I thought it was interesting that John Jones also said that he wouldn't be surprised if you beat him again. And the reason why he said that, he thinks Tom is drinking his own Kool-Aid. Do you agree with that?
Really?
That Tom is kind of feeling himself a little bit?
I mean, I can't say as to whether he is or he isn't. I don't think anyone would be able to tell that besides people in his inner circle. But if he is, can you really blame him? Like he knocked out Sergey, uh, and John seems, I don't want to say scared, but he seems apprehensive about the prospect of potentially fighting Aspinall. I would be a little gassed up also. Nothing wrong with that. I think you have to have that mindset. You got to be feeling yourself. That goes for every sport. Like if you ask Joe Joe Burrow right now if he thinks he's the best in the league at his position, he'll say yeah. Even though we probably wouldn't agree, he has to think that way.
Makes sense. What does this title actually mean if you win it at UFC 304? Like, what does it mean to you? Because I know you get asked it a lot. Does it feel like you're the real champion? I know it's you get paid
Yes.
the same, but do you look at that belt and say, all right, this is cool, but let me figure out what's going on with this John Jones Stipe situation before I call myself the
No.
champion, or do you call yourself the champion that night?
I will be if I have the belt, I will be the champion. That's how I view it. I view honestly in a weird way, I view the undisputed belt as like a, a interim belt. I believe just because I think Tom had to beat a harder opponent in order to get his belt. Not to say that John he didn't do what he was supposed to do, but they gave him a guy who don't know how to grapple, and that's a huge hole in his game. That's a strength for John. It was you don't want to say easy win because it's still MMA. Anything can happen, but it went just about how we all predicted it. That Tom versus Pavlovich, who knows who's gonna win that fight? They both had a shot. I didn't think Gon had any shot to beat John. So it's just off the strength of that. I believe Tom is that's the real belt. Yeah, that's how I view it.
Bro, when Cyril got that opportunity to fight for this title against John for the vacant belt, and I know you don't beg or say anything, but were you a little surprised that it was him
No,
against John?
I was I wasn't because again, I've been with the UFC for 8 years now. Like I get it, like marketing. He's French, which means he brings in all the fans over there. He has a aesthetically pleasing style. Like a lot of people don't like wrestling, so I get that. He does all like the fancy um, karate stance, all that stuff. It's easier to market his highlights versus the highlights I have. I get it, and also I think they asked John. It's probably like John, do you want to go against this guy who doesn't know how to wrestle, or this guy who knows how to wrestle? And I think he did the business smart decision because I am a harder fight for him than Gon. I think a lot of guys are harder fight for him than Gon, but I don't know. It's a weird situation. I haven't really put a whole lot of energy into what's whether or not I get the opportunity to ever fight against John because honestly I don't believe I will. So I just stopped thinking about it. If it happens, great, but I'm not holding my breath. That's how I put it. Yeah.
I think part of that is the heavyweight division, like the light heavyweight division right now, it's a lot of strikers, and you
Yeah,
present a different set of challenges for all those
yeah.
guys. Is that really
Styles make
the bottom
matchup.
line? Yeah, is that really the
Yeah,
bottom line? It's like your skill set is not, I don't want to say easier for John, but he's going to have a lot more difficulty dealing with somebody like you
yeah.
because John's not really a striker.
He's yeah, he's a bit of everything. He's like me. He's a faster. I I viewed myself early on. I was like, no, early on I wanted to be Habib. And then I was like, no, I can my hands they can get a little better than that. No disrespect to Habib because I'm not half the wrestler that he is. But I knew my hands could get a little better than that. So then I went on to model myself after Velasquez. And I was like, no, because he doesn't use his wrestling as often as I believe I would. So I went to Jones. Jones and me, like we fight similarly. And yeah, when you go in there with, I guess, a guy like Gon or Tuivasa or even a Derek Lewis, even though they all have skill sets that make them scary, they're walking in there with just a hammer. I'm walking in with a hammer, a shovel, a wrench, a bunch of different. I got a fuller tool belt than they do, and that presents more issues, and I think that makes it harder.
This fight with Aspinall, one of my last questions for you is, there are a lot of people that are looking at this Manchester card because there's so many British fighters, and it's Leon, and it's Tom, and it's Paddy, and it's Molly, and they look at it as like a celebration of British MMA. Do you feel like you're getting overlooked a little bit when it comes down to this card and how this card's being built around Tom and Leon and not necessarily the people that are fighting? It feels like you and Bilal are kind of being overlooked heading into these fights.
I mean, if we are, that's fine. I don't, like I said, I don't really like the limelight. I like the money that you get with the limelight. Well, I get that you have to be in the limelight, but if I could have the money without the limelight, I would. So I'm fine with them dismissing me. That's that's fine with me. I don't care.
But if you do get this championship, and this is my last question, you do this, get this championship, you are now in the limelight. And
Yeah.
I know you're not going to call your shots. You're going to do whatever it is that's next. But are you the real heavyweight champion if you beat Tom Aspinall at UFC 304?
Yes. Because I believe Tom is right now the heavyweight champion. So I win it. I got the juice. He got the juice right now. I win it. I got the juice. So
Perfect. Well, Curtis, appreciate the time, my man. Good luck to
no
you.
worries.
Not too far away for the big fight in Manchester. Finally getting this title opportunity. Good luck to you. I hope to get to talk to you again, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.